No, 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 no.
Hey guys, so it's no secret that I have not been playing a huge amount of Rumble recently. I just honestly needed a little bit of a break. I've been playing religiously since launch. That's like 3 months of just pure Warcraft Rumble, and I just needed a bit of a break. And something that's recently got me interested in playing again is this Hogger Deck. Now, I don't know where this Hogger Deck came from. There might be a video out there about it already, and if there is, I apologize. But I ran into it on ladder when I was playing Baron, and I got absolutely obliterated by it. And I mean obliterated by it. And I thought, I have to try this, because something really crazy happens. And you saw it at the start of the video. Cheat Death with Hogger with the poison talent has an unbelievable amount of healing, like a really unbelievable amount of healing. Such in the case that you could probably play this in a lot of PvE maps and do ridiculous things. So I want to just talk through the deck, and I also want to go through some games like I usually do by using my epic pen. So first of all, obviously Hogger. We're running Spoiled Meat. Now, if you have Hogger at rare, I do always recommend that you have Ham Hock and Spoiled Meat. I think Fatal Frenzy is unfortunately the weakest of the other talents, but Spoiled Meat never really saw much play because most people just defaulted to Ham Hock, but Spoiled Meat has come into its own right now. We're going to run it with Bubble, Murloc Tidehunters. We're going to run with the Golden Sheep Polymorph. We're going to run Mighty Throw Griffin Rider. Gnomish Cloaking Device on our safe pilot, the reason being that coming in hot damage is significantly reduced. I just really like Gnomish Cloaking Device again. We are specifically running Vampirism on Cheat Death, which is, in my opinion, the best talent anyway. So if you've been following my talent guide, you should have Vampirism as like your primary choice, even if you have this at Uncommon. It is the absolute most important part of this deck. And then you can either run Bristleback or Poison, to be honest with you, on the Quillbore. Kind of depends what you're facing. If you're facing a lot of Dark Iron Dwarves, then definitely go for Bristleback. Otherwise, Poison can work quite nicely because we're running Poison Hogger, so you can just use it to refresh a stack and just kind of get a bit more damage on a particular target. But that is the deck. The most important parts being Poison on Hogger and Vampirism on our Cheat Death. A lot of these other minis can kind of be replaced. We are just trying to run a relatively low-cost deck to cycle Hoggers out. Although I don't really want to run a Defias Bandits because Hogger's biggest weakness is Wellpegs most of the time. So just running a lot of options to deal with Wellpegs makes it a little bit easier to make Hogger work a bit more viably. Anyway, let's jump into some games to kind of to review with an epic pen, because boy, you're gonna enjoy this. There is some mental things going on here. Okay, guys, so we're going to start off. I played a lot of games, but I'm going to try and go over the main good ones. We're going up against a Baron, which Baron's still pretty good in the meta right now. Don't get me wrong, not terrible. Okay, so generally with any kind of Hogger deck, because if you have Hogger in your opening hand, you kind of just want to play him. Like, ultimately, you force an answer. He'll take chests for you if there are chests on the map. And in general, just allows you to start scaling and cycling up to the next Hogger. So if you ever have Hogger, you just play him. On this particular map, I do like to play kind of like a slow kobold that kind of walks around the side here. Just because it's a cycle, it will cycle the kobold out of my deck. It costs 1 gold, and it might even then go on to pick up those, pick up that gold. Now, this guy was going ham on really trying to take out this chest. He spent 7 gold to my 6 at this point. He's also got a load of other stuff coming in the background, but he has also just used Deep Breath. Now, what I've done here is I'm saying I really want this chest. I don't want to give this chest up. I'm happy to kind of just let whatever happens with this Baron happen. Now, obviously, Baron is going to be a bit of a pain in the ass here, but that's okay. I'm choosing to kind of take control of this chest area and ensure that I get the gold. And then once I've mounted a defense versus Baron, I can then start to look at using Hogger again. Now, I'm on my second Hogger at this point, and now I'm on to my third. So I've already scaled up my Hogger quite well at this point. I know that his main form of attacks are going to come from this right here, this tower here. That's going to be the easiest way for him to launch attacks in my base, given the low HP. I know that he's running Deep Breath, so he could Deep Breath chip me down, but I'm not going to let him. I'm going to try and get this to ramp up quickly. And what I like about this Hogger deck is with Hero's Resolve, Hogger gets better, higher levels, and also can take down bases within a couple of seconds. So it's just really strong. But I know that he's spent a lot of gold recently. I have 7 gold in the bank. I also have Cheat Death available, so I can go for this tower, and this will stop him from getting really easy pushes onto my base. And I'm just going to use my safe pilot here just to stop around. I'm also going to use, as we said, the polymorph, which is really good in these types of scenarios, just to kind of ensure that your Hogger can take down the objective. And now that I've taken this tower, he now has to think about retaking this tower. And what I'm going to do in response is I'm just going to start sending Hoggers towards his base. So we've got Hoggers coming in from every way direction. And now you're going to see the beauty of this deck in action. We are going to send Hogger at the base. And we don't even really need to use the cheat death, but I am going to use it here. You'll notice takes a bit of damage, but it doesn't matter because he's just healing up, takes down the base. And this is what happens with this Hogger deck. It can basically win in a couple of seconds. It's absolutely fantastic. Let's jump on to the next one. Okay, this time we're versus a Rend. We're versus a Rend. Rend can be kind of difficult for some Hogger decks, but as you know, I run quite a bit of anti-air in this deck because it kind of deals with some of Hogger's main weaknesses. Once again, we're going to cycle Hogger, but this is what I mean about well pegs. Well pegs tend to be Hogger's greatest issue. And as what I'm doing here is you can actually pull the aggro away from your primary target once it sort of gets kind of out of range by just dropping something else close by to the whelps. And you can see we've already had a pretty good start here. We're also now going to drop our kobold because we should now be seeing some stuff pop onto the gold mines, which it has. We've just seen him drop a Rend, which we know he's spent a decent amount of gold on this Rend at this point. And we're actually now going to go and push with Hogger over onto this side tower over here. He will drop, as we mentioned, and you're actually going to see the Hogger vampirism in action even at this low level, which is absolutely, just look how awesome it was. Like, we dealt with the harpies with my ranged minis. We kept Hogger occupying those harpies, so they stayed there for a while. Quick little thing. I'm going to go back to that this bit here. Sorry. A lot going on in that those last few seconds. So obviously you saw how cheat death worked right there. It doesn't necessarily need to be used to heal him up to full. It also can be used to distract certain minis, keep them stuck on the Hogger for a time frame, and just allowed Hogger to take that tower, that turret, and then just allowed my ranged minis to take down the harpies and then eventually the Murloc Tidehunters. So we now have that tower secured. With Rend, I'm going to try and go back even further here. Right, so with Rend, if you've never seen this get done, this combo is very good combo to take down Rend. You have your Griffin Rider approaching. When you think that Griffin Rider is kind of getting into the aggro range of Rend, you're going to drop a Quillbore right behind Rend, and that will turn Rend away from your Griffin Rider. And then your Griffin Rider will take a couple of hits, maybe 3, and they'll take Rend down. Rend can now no longer respond to the Griffin Rider. So the Griffin Rider is essentially going to get away with this for free. I'm going to leave those guys just going out against each other here. We're going to send another Hogger back over to the side tower. We should be able to take it down. Griffin Rider at this range is also pretty solid at taking down these well pegs. And we'll also just spawn a safe pilot on top of them to kind of make that go in our favor. Now, I kind of missed the polymorph here, which is kind of bad on my behalf, but we have got the Murloc Tidehunters with the tower as well, so we should be perfectly fine. And we have another option to keep spawning our Hoggers in, which we're going to do in just a moment. We have quite a bit of gold in our favor, but going to spawn Hoggers to take the chests. Not the quickest and most direct route to the base, but it doesn't really matter too much. We're just kind of making sure that we secure those chests to get the gold in our favor. We don't mind cycling Hogger just a little bit more in this case as well. So we're going to use Safe Pilot to take out those well pegs. We also have our Griffin Rider that will take down the Rend in this situation. We're going to spawn another Kobold, and at this point I'm now saying, okay, I feel pretty comfortable to go straight for the base. We're going to use the Quillbore to kind of distract, and you can see that he spawned harpies on top. We are going to use polymorph, even though it wasn't strictly necessary, and now you're going to see the beauty of cheat death in action. You wait right until the last moment, and boom, my Hogger is full HP and is just going ham on the base. No pun intended. Great example of how this deck is supposed to work. Right, we'll go on to the next game. I had loads and loads of games on this map, but I do want to show you this one because it was quite interesting. It's versus a pretty meta deck right now, which is the Thaurissan Earth Elemental deck. I remember correctly, this guy also ran Huntress, so it did kind of make running some of my minis a little harder because obviously Huntress great into Murloc Tidehunters, great into Griffin Rider, like lots of good options for Huntress into this kind of deck. No Mist Cloaking Device, kind of annoying. kind of annoying versus the setup that I had there, because obviously it will get rid of one of the Murloc Tidehunter's bubbles for free, but that's okay. One of the things that is good against Huntress is a Hogger. So we take out the Thaurissan. We're then going to get Hogger just attacking this Earth Elemental. But eventually Hogger should... No, he's going to go and be annoying on the well pegs. That's okay. But you're going to see how awful my Murloc Tidehunters end up being into the Huntress. Like, Huntress in general is just very, very good versus Murloc Tidehunters. Now, a bit early to go for the base here, but I thought, why not? Let's just push on the base and start getting a bit of damage down. You're going to notice in a minute that we're going to wait, we're going to wait, we're going to wait, we're going to wait, we're going to wait for the poison to stack up, and boom, then we're going to use Cheat Death. It doesn't really matter what happens to the rest of this right now. The Cheat Death has already got my Hogger back to full HP, and you can see that one push with Cheat Death has taken down half of his entire base. Whilst he's kind of slowly chipping away with the Earth Elemental, we managed to, with one push, essentially take out his entire base. And we're going to send another Hogger towards his base in the time being as well. And we can do the same thing in just a moment. We're going to use the Cheat Death here to try and take down this side tower. We're going to get Hogger back to full HP, and that side tower will go down. So that will essentially make my... sort of my base a little safer from his pushes. Obviously, with Thaurissan, you don't need to get to the base. You can kind of have your Earth Elemental do it for you. But as you can see, very easy for us. We get another Hogger onto the base at level 13, and we end up winning. Just good example of how quick this deck can deal damage to the base. Got another Rend, but this time on Arathi Basin. So just want to show this off because it's a different kind of map. We're not running Dark Iron Miner. So obviously we have to kind of use Quillbore to counter Dark Iron Miner, which we're going to do in this case. My Quillbore being level 10 does kind of help in this scenario. But this is a relatively even matchup. A lot of level 9s and versus like level 9s. There is only really the fact that I've got a level 10 Quillbore that kind of changes the scope of the level a little bit here. But we do have to be careful versus Rend. He's also a Rend Gargoyle deck. Now, this is why we run something like Polymorph. We actually don't have a huge amount of stuff that can deal effectively with Gargoyle. So we're actually going to Polymorph here. And I Polymorph there, even though it wasn't optimal. The reason I did it is because we just wanted to take as much damage to the Gargoyle as possible. If you Polymorph something, you do remove their armored or resistant status. So you can actually kind of increase the damage that you deal to that particular target. Now, whilst we're putting some pressure on his base, which you can see here, we're actually going to send Rend at his side tower. Really good timing, because he has actually just used Rend, which is a very big gold investment over on that right-hand side. So we're going to use the Cheat Death in this particular case, as you can see. Not actually healing my Hogger up, but it's just allowing me the space to take the tower down. And obviously, his Safe Pilot then does not turn around in this situation. We actually use our Quillbore on the Prowler, even though not ideal. The Prowler should get distracted long enough so that my tower actually gets taken by me. And in the meantime, I also sent a Hogger towards his base on the right-hand side. A lot of things about in PvP are kind of like knowing where to pressure and when. Now, obviously, I'm taking a huge amount of damage here versus this Rend, but because I have the side tower now, it's less threatening. There is no way that he's going to randomly get a Gargoyle to just come and sort of hit my base. Now, as you can see here, I'm going to wait, and then proc my Cheat Death. I'm healed to full, and I should, with this push, get the win, which I did. Just so insane what this deck can do. It's crazy. We're going to jump to the next game. Okay, this was a really interesting Arathi Basin map. It was versus Jaina. I made a lot of mistakes in this game, primarily because I hadn't really played a lot of Jaina matchups since the Safe Pilot nerf. As you can see, as I said, I haven't really played a huge amount. I elected not to just throw a Hogger down because I didn't really know the kind of spells that this guy had in his deck. But as you can see, I'm going to look. This is just poor effort on my behalf. I used the Safe Pilot, and it actually doesn't kill the Jainas in one shot anymore. So that's something that you have to be aware of. This guy's playing Cycle Jaina as well, which is really interesting because he's going to try and scale the Jaina up as much as he can. And he also used Deep Breath, which is really annoying. But yeah, as I said, I made a few mistakes in this game. But this kind of is a good game to show you that even if you make mistakes, even if you think that all is lost, it just takes one good setup and you can win the game in one foul swoop. And as you can see here, this guy is kind of out-cycling me. He's cycled Jaina 3 times already. So what I'm going to do is just kind of take out this Jaina by using the Safe Pilot combo. just to try and put as much pressure on the Jaina as possible. We are going to use Tide Hunters, which should take out the Griffin Rider, which is great. We're now going to send this this Hogger towards the base. Now, we can, with this Hogger, potentially get a lot of damage down. We're actually going to use the Polymorph on the Jaina here. And we're going to wait. We're going to wait. He actually ends up using Polymorph on my Hogger, but the Polymorph sheep will actually regenerate HP whilst the poison is ticking. So I don't mind that. That was a pretty poor Polymorph on my behalf. Wasn't really any real need to do it that way. But we do have another Polymorph coming up as well, so that will actually help us in this scenario. So we're going to end up doing the Polymorph now, which should help us take out this Jaina. He does actually spawn another Jaina, but that's okay. We've actually kind of got our Hogger going. We're going to turn that Jaina around, and that's actually really, really good because he polymorphed my Hogger, but he's not going to be able to kill my Hogger. And now this is the setup that we're looking for. It was a really good turn on the Jaina, and this is a big, big push that we've got a pretty much fully stacked Hogger. We're going to wait. We're going to wait. We're going to wait. We're going to wait. And he does have Execute, so we have to be a little careful. We're going to polymorph just to make sure, and you can see in one fell swoop we ended up winning the game. Shows you just how strong this deck is. It's an absolutely fantastic, fantastic deck to play. So that's pretty much all the games I'm going to show you today, guys. Hopefully you can take this deck away and play with it at your level. It's really, really fun. Honestly, some of the most fun that I've had in Rumble in a while, just because it's just so great to see a 0 HP Hogger go to full HP with cheat death. It's kind of crazy. And probably needs a nerf, but it's obviously much better with Heroes Resolve because Hogger levels up every time you play him. But there we go. Enjoy. See if you can improve on it. See how you do. And I will see you very soon.